Alright guys, I got a pretty good little argument on Facebook to share with you guys. It's about the Chicago kidnapping incident with I'm just going to call them Black Lives Matter supporters, 'cause to me that's what they seem like. Um, if you haven't seen the video, I'll go ahead and link to it in the description. But I want to get into this argument I got on Facebook, which I found pretty humorous. So here's my original post. I hope after that Chicago video of forewarning, it's a little bit vulgar, I was upset. I hope after that Chicago video of the handicapped kid being tortured by some racist black people makes all of you race-baiting bastards shut the fuck up. Stop talking about race. Black people, in my experience, are more racist than white people. These college campuses might let you get away with violence just because you're on the left and fall in their ideological camp, but the rest of us are sick of all this race-baiting violence and riots. Love trumps hate, they say, but then go on and riot and attack white people just because of their color or their skin. I don't even support Trump, but I know for a fact I don't support all this racism and violence being festered up on the left for years. Shut the fuck up about my skin color or yours. So I went ahead and got a comment on this, which I've argued with this person before. I believe they're a Black Lives Matter supporter. I don't see why they wouldn't be. So here's her initial post. Ignorance doesn't have a color. Nothing I'm about to type is justifying that, but I hope this cruelty isn't the first time you've seen that type of harm done. So here we go. For hundreds of years, my ancestors, I don't know how she knew my ancestors or who they were, but my ancestors are from Europe, so I don't know. I don't know what she's talking about here. My ancestors. Apparently she went on and looked up my past. Killed pregnant women, raped young girls and boys. Wow, I had some really fucked up, grandparents and great grandparents and so forth. They beat toddlers, killed fathers in just about every part of the world. I guess so, right? I get that you are angry. Yes, black people can be ignorant. We can also be racist, but the difference is ours comes from backlash of being tortured. White racism comes from pure hate. I mean, wouldn't you hate someone who has continuously tried to make you extinct? I've never tried to make anyone extinct. I'm white. You're just throwing me in that group of people. And same with my ancestors. You say, you don't know my ancestors. All right, let's keep going. We get the worst schools. I went to school with this girl, by the way. Treatment, neighborhoods. So until you endure hundreds of years of being treated less than human, which is physically impossible for me to endure hundreds of years of anything. You sound like another white kid without an accurate history lesson. Wow. Oh, but if white people went to good schools, wouldn't we have accurate history lessons? Contradiction. Okay, racism is a construct of power. What can a racist black man gain from hating white people besides being treated badly in society? A racist white man can become president. All right, let's address this point real quick. Racism is a construct of power. No, it's not. Racism is when you hate someone based on the color of their skin, for whatever reason. What can a racist black man gain from hating white people? Okay, I don't think when people become racist, they're like, oh, what can I gain from being racist? I think they're just racist. They just hate a certain group of people. I don't think they're actually looking to see how they could gain from certain advantages. All right. Let's see. I went into where does all these comments go? Let's see. Hold on, people. Get there eventually. That's one of these. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Gotta scroll up. Alright, you should hate no one for what they look like. Agree. Don't get that confused. But when you say blacks are more racist, I just have to understand how. And keep in mind, people, I said in my experience. So obviously there's certain black people that aren't racist. Alright, but if you take an average, if you did one out of every, like I would say fewer than 5 out of 100 white people are racist. Whereas I would say 10 out of 100 minimum of black people are racist. In my experience, this is what I've come across. That's what I've seen. All right, so here's where we go. In my experience, black people are quicker to call white people racist without evidence. That is racism. And you don't know my ancestors. How dare you insult me like that? Or how dare you insult them like that? And even if they had, none of that falls on my shoulders, and it never affected you. You were never tortured by anyone. Don't act like you were some type of victim. We can also, I'm just quoting here. We can also be racist, but the difference is ours comes from backlash of being tortured. Give me a break. You expect us to believe this garbage? Look around you. A white guy gets tortured and you have the nerve to say blacks are the victims here? Complete insanity. I'm not racist, but it's pathetic that I and many others have to walk on eggshells out of fear of being called racist. You still benefit from what they did, right? I don't even, how would I benefit from that? Why would I benefit from the enslavement of a population or murder of people? Look, if those black people wouldn't have been enslaved, and first of all, my ancestors were not slave owners, so I was not benefiting from that in any way. I didn't even get some kind of inheritance or anything, right? None of that got passed down to me. But if they weren't slaves and they were able to be productive in society, we would have had a much more beneficial economy, and I would have benefited if they were not. So no, I did not benefit from that. So I said so I just go on to try to get to a point where maybe I'm like, okay, look, maybe if I try to explain to her why black people are in this negative situation. So I said the real oppressors are government. Who do you think legislated Jim Crow laws? Not me and not the free market. The government, which blacks overwhelmingly support larger government and support the same system that keeps them in perpetual poverty and has destroyed the black family. And that here I'm just saying, no, I did not. I'm replying to this here. I don't understand how she could say I benefited from any of that. I said, you want to know why blacks live in higher poverty? It's because of affirmative action, the war on drugs, alimony laws, and the minimum wage. Yet white privilege takes the blame. Absurd. She replies with, white privilege takes the blame because government that made the laws were a bunch of white men and the children of former slaveholders. I tell her, you can't see past race. Look at what actually affects your life. My skin color doesn't. I hate these kind of arguments here is when you know this person has no argument. Can I recommend this book to you? And then she says, I can see past race. Your color makes no difference. It's how you access the past and present that troubles me. Okay, you don't know how I access it. What does that even mean? Like this unclarity, this vague language is what the left is made up of. It's a bunch of vague language where people are mad and they can't ever actually make a point. So I go reference her book argument. I love shutting down these whenever someone tells me to read a book. It's like arguing with Marxists or something. It says, no, if you can't make an argument without referencing a book, you must not know the argument that the book gives that well. Maybe you should read it again. She said, it's not about an argument, though. I literally just want you to look at things differently. I see why you say what you say and don't completely disagree. Okay, well, glad we have some common ground. But racism itself is the idea of classification came from the white man. All right, so I say, what is it that you would like white people to do? I'm just curious. And I said, no, it didn't prove it, referencing the idea of classification came from what? Like, how would you even know that? Like, you know how long racism's been around? I mean, it's probably since the dawn of time. When a race met with another race, I'm sure they had some kind of disagreements, and they were like, oh, this race does this differently. We don't like that. We're going to assert that with that group of people. All right, I don't think white people are the only people to ever do that, okay? Uh, says understand your position. I guess she wants to understand my position, or she wants me. I don't know what she's saying here. She's laughing at the point that I told her to prove her argument. Uh, and I said, even if it did, so what? Like even if white people invented racism, so what? Are we the only proponents of racism? She goes on to say, well, how can we be more of something that was created by you? I don't understand this question, so I said, rephrase this question. She comes back with, if racism and classifying groups of people came from the white man in charge, how can the white man be upset when the people he has conquered follow his system? I reply with, who is the white man you speak of? Does he have a name? Nobody keeps me down, and I don't have to follow any system because I am an individual. She replies with, the white man, not you, but someone with low amounts of melanin before you, set up a system to exclude everyone else to maintain his illusion of power. Well, if it's just an illusion of power, does that mean he doesn't actually have any power? Anyways, maybe we're nitpicking there. She replies to my comment where I said as an individual, so that's good, a great way to live. Some random name, Johann Friedrich Blumenbach. I don't know who that is. I mean, I don't see a point in looking it up. She didn't make an argument. She didn't say this person was actually responsible for anything, or even if he was, okay, great, you have someone to blame. Why are you blaming white people? All right, let's see. So I reply with, so live that way and say, screw the system. Stop being a victim. What system is there that keeps you down, and how should we go about changing it? She said, I don't believe in the system personally, but in order to get rid of it, we have to acknowledge it's a problem. Okay, so I say, so what's problematic about it? I could name 100 things. I'm asking you, what is it that is bothering you so much? She says, we have to realize, this is dodging here, we have to realize that every human on this earth is going to do something fucked up. We have to stop being small-minded and learn that we messed up, and the only way to grow as a human race is to love and educate ourselves on the truth. Okay, but what does that mean? You cannot just say things like that. She says, nothing bothers me. I welcome your questions. So I say, you are blaming a system. I'm asking, what about whatever system you are speaking of is oppressive to blacks? She said, no, I was addressing your original post, but can the system not share in the blame? And then she said, you name it. The judicial system, the prison system, the school system. I say, what about them? They must exist. They have to be here. So what is it that's wrong with them? Which I know there's a lot of things wrong with them, but I'm just trying to see if she knows, if she actually has something she wants to change, or if she's just bickering. I say, I feel as if you're upset, but can't name your actual grievances. They are all systems that have been oppressive to blacks. In my opinion, I feel like we aren't going anywhere, but I'm not upset. LOL. I reply with, that's because you can't name one simple thing that you're actually upset about. Apparently it's all white people's fault, and we are to blame for all of your problems. That is what I'm hearing when you can't articulate an actual point. White privilege, they say, but can't tell me what privileges I actually have. She goes on to say, I can't argue with you if you refuse to see, but I wish you well. All right, so you can't make an argument. Of course, I reply to this is a little smart ass here at the end. Of course, this is always how these end. I love being right. Yes, another privilege. You're always right, aren't you? LOL. I say, I am. So guys, this is the kind of people that you have to stand up to these people. You can't just, I guarantee you, this person right here, and people like them, there's almost no one in their life that disagrees with them. I'm sure I'm the only voice that's articulating this point. Most people are afraid to be called racist, but look, it's getting to the point now where you're going to be called racist just for being white, okay, or whatever reason. You're going to be called a misogynist, a homophobic, or a racist just for having an opinion that differs from theirs. All right, so you guys stand up to these people. But it's not hard to do. I mean, look, you really just have to ask them what they're mad about. What are you mad about that they can't tell you? They don't actually have any kind of argument to speak of. All right, guys. Well, and I'll be back soon. I'll be making some more videos here. I took a little break as I was moving houses, but I will talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe.